Good evening. My name's Adrian. That's Bob. He's getting the mouse. I don't know how to do that. So we're going to, the agenda that we've got is, I'll lay it out here, is relevant info about us and our association, a little bit of history of the Oshawa Minor Hockey, the structure of Oshawa Minor Hockey, key stakeholders, their roles, and how we interact with them as an organization. Oshawa is a city of approximately 152,000 residents. We have two significant employers, General Motors and UOIT, which is the university. The university has basically taken over the employment in Oshawa since the downturn in the economy. General Motors has downsized from about 20,000 employees to about 6,000 to 8,000. Hockey in Oshawa began with the start of the 20th century, playing on outdoor rinks, with the first indoor rink surface opening in 1910. In 1928, the Bradley Arena burnt down, leaving Oshawa with only the outdoor rinks again. In 1930, the new Oshawa Arena was completed. 33-34 season, Oshawa Minor Hockey was born, playing out of the Oshawa Arena. Oshawa Minor Hockey would pick all-star teams from all the players registered at Bantam, Midget, and Juvenile. At playoff time, the all-star teams would enter the OMHA playdowns for provincial titles. In 1947, the Neighborhood Association of Sports Committees, called the NASC as a house league, was formed to provide hockey for the very young to peewee age kids. The Oshawa Catholic Youth Organization, CYO, started a smaller league from Atom to Midget at the same time. The OCHL, which is the Oshawa Church Hockey League, that's another house league. They started operation about the same time, from novice to bantam. In September 1953, the Oshawa Arena burned down. Had a lot of trouble with fires. There would be no indoor ice for the next 3 seasons, so for the next 3, the players would be bused to Port Perry and Bowmanville to play hockey. They had indoor rinks. In 1956, Children's Arena was built. It's still being used today. It's been upgraded a couple of times. It's not a bad rink, it's just a little bit small. In the early 1960s, the North Oshawa Arena was built to enclose the outdoor pad that was in use there. Because of the huge demand for ice in the city of Oshawa built Harmon Park 2-pad and the Civic Auditorium Arena, where the Generals played up until a couple of years ago. They were both built in 1966. Donovan Arena was built in 1975 and upgraded, I think, sometime around 2005. Civic Auditorium was closed in 2007 after the new General Motors Center was built. In 1966, the Oshawa Little NHL was formed, starting with novice and expanding to 36 teams right up till juvenile, with minor and majors at each level. The Little NHL would eventually become the Oshawa Minor Hockey A-Rep teams from novice to midget. Since 2005, the City of Oshawa has built the 4-pad Legends Complex, helped with the building of the 2-pad University Campus Ice Center, and the 2-pad General Motors Center, for a total of 12 pads available within the City of Oshawa. They're all within maybe a half-hour drive from each other. In 1997, the NASC and the OCHL would become affiliated to Oshawa Minor Hockey as house leagues. Both organizations would have 2 seats on the Oshawa Minor Hockey Board. This affiliation would prove to be very successful in smoothing out the bumps and provide a good working relationships with house league and rep. Both the NASC and OCHL offer similar programs from initiation to juvenile, with about 1,700 participants between the 2 leagues. Since 2005, Oshawa Minor Hockey has offered rep from novice to midget at AE, A, AA, AAA for approximately 612 rep players. This coming season, we've got 2 teams at novice AE. It's a bit of a development for our novice AA and AAA for the 2012 season. It's an experiment that will put these underage novice AEs, they're 6 and 7-year-olds, into competitive hockey in preparation for the AA and AAA in coming years. Oshawa Minor Hockey itself operates the rep program. The 2 affiliated house leagues operate under the OMHA manual and use Oshawa Minor Hockey Association to be their voice with the Ontario Minor Hockey. To further facilitate, we formed the Oshawa Hockey Development Committee with representatives from both House Leagues and Oshawa minor hockey reps. All issues concerning hockey at any level in Oshawa are brought to the table. Now we'll have Bob Crystal do his part.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm going to try to rise to the challenge to run my presentation and push the mouse because Adrian's not kind of technically challenged. So what we want to do here is, I guess, give you an overview of how we interact with these groups, our parents, players, coaches, managers, executives, and mentors. And I think by going through each one of these groups, I can demonstrate how we've tried to make communication a two-way street. We want to know what these groups are thinking and tell us what you're thinking, but we also want them as groups to know what we're thinking and where we're going. I mean, a surprise is nice if it's a birthday party, but other than that, they tend to be nasty. So if you stay in touch and you communicate and you keep touching the base with each other, then you know what's going on. They know what to expect from you, and they know what you expect from them. So just an overview, just to give you a flavor of how we dealt with things. Like when I first became president, I wouldn't say we were the healthiest organization in Ontario, but right now we seem to have a high satisfaction level, and I think that's why we're recommended to come here. But one of the first things we did was ask players, parents, and coaches to sign a letter of commitment. And it sets an expectation for behavior, your role in the organization, what we want from you, what we expect from you. And that sets the tone for the year. And you get them to sign it when they come to the coaching interview, or you get them to sign it at registration. When they want something, get them to sign. Oh, and just another overview. I have a package of these types of forms and our policy manuals. I gave it to Jason. So if anybody wants copies, see Jason and he can provide them. Because I'm not going to copy them. Okay, codes of conduct, got that. Yep, package. Okay, this is where the challenge comes in. I gotta keep hitting the mouse. Okay, if a hockey association is to be successful, parents are the paying customers and they need to be satisfied. And as one of the guys I coach with said, you should run hockey like a business. You're supplying a service, they're the customers. If you want the check every month, find out what they want, give it to them. And how we accomplish that, how do you determine what they want and are they getting it? We started a parent survey program. Like, people thought we were crazy, but we went out and asked people, what do you think of the association? What do you think of your ice? What do you think of the development programs? Have you got too much ice, not enough ice? Is your kid happy? What's going on? It was about 3 or 4 pages long. It was confidential, but only 2 people in the organization saw it. Now that was to give it some integrity, but also to tell people, you tell me what's going on, you sign this, nobody else sees it except these 2 people, we'll get a summary of it, but nobody will ever know that you said these nasty things about the coach. But if you're signing it, you won't say those nasty things if it's unfounded. But if they are founded, if they do reside in fact, we want to get hold of that coach and get it fixed. So we started that, about 4 or 5 years ago? The return rate was in the 70% range when we started. When it dropped below 40%, our treasurer said, we don't need to do this anymore. It's too much money. But right now we are looking at an online survey system because the parents are telling us they want it back again. They miss it. They want to give us the feedback. And really, we need it. But the way we were doing it before was too cumbersome, too much paper. The online system, I think, will be a good idea. Okay, roles of the players. If the objective is to develop skills and character, players need to feel they belong and are a key part of the team. And basically that is every kid on the team has a role. Every kid on the team has a right to play. And coaches need to know that, and players need to know that. We provide professional clinics for skills, skating, and goalies. And the one that's given us the most success is the skills. We have a group called 3 Zones that will not let the players go through the drill wrong. If you're doing it wrong, they'll pull you out, fix it, put you back in. I used to say, if you're doing a practice wrong, all you're doing is making perfect mistakes. But these guys will not let that happen. They've had a material impact on the way our players play the game. You can see it. they've gotten noticeably better through these guys. So we really appreciate what they've done. Now, we mandate and publicize rolling of the lines up to Pee Wee. Equal number of shifts except for the final minutes of the game. At the beginning of every season, when you have your parents' meeting, they are told, your kid has the right to play. And you're told, this coach has been told to roll the lines. There's no pulling your kid back from the gate, destroying his confidence, destroying how he feels about himself as a player. He's there, and he has a right to play, put him out. And you don't have, and at young ages especially, you don't have a power play and a penalty kill that only has these guys on it. Every kid deserves that right to get out there and experience that. So that's the philosophy we've tried to instill in the coaches, and it seems to be working. All right, and the player surveys, we also surveyed players, which was interesting. Players tend to be more happy than parents. They're not so bitter. And they'll really tell you what's going on. Okay, and one comment, it amazes me, that's my last point on that slide. Coaches who shorten the bench can't understand why the kids won't come out for tryouts next year. You know, I put the guy in the end of the bench and never played him. Why won't he come out and try again? Well, you've destroyed his confidence. Why would he want to come out? He'll go down to Double-A and be a star. Like, it's a self-defeating process to shorten the bench to win the game, because in the end you lose the kid. And what are we here for? We're here for the kid. We tell coaches, I won't hire you again if you coach that way and win 75% of your games. I don't want you back. If you lose 75% of your games and you've developed the players from here to there, I want you back. You're here for every kid on that bench, and you have a responsibility to every kid on that bench. So be responsible. Okay, role of the coaches. They have more influence on how we are viewed. Oh, right. Sorry. I did tell you it was going to be a challenge. The coaches are the public face of our organization. They're seen by everybody in the arena, in a game, in a practice, even in public. And we make them aware of that responsibility. If you act like an idiot on the bench, you make me look like an idiot for picking you. If you act responsibly, I look responsible. Make me look good, I'll make you look good. Let's work together. That's the message to them. We tell them they need to be open-minded. You're not here just to develop the kids. You're here to develop yourself. You aren't finished being developed as a coach or a person until you're dead. So keep working with us, be open-minded. Now it says we have dropped those who are not, and that is true. And they've taken a year off and come back, and they've been some of the best examples in our system. So it does work. And they need to view players as their customers, keep them happy as a group, not necessarily as individuals. Like, you don't cater to players, you cater to the group. You make sure they're happy and they're playing well. Okay, the role of the managers. They are our frontline reps. They're our customer service guys. They're the problem solvers. We always say to coaches, it's really not in your best interest to deal with parents. That's what the manager's there for. You deal with the kids, you develop the skills of the kids, develop the team, and let the manager worry about the parents. We have, and I think every association has, a 24-hour rule. Don't talk to me until you've talked to your kid. Because, he may have been sick on the bench, he may have been injured. Don't make an assumption and come screaming at me and embarrass yourself and embarrass everybody. Talk to your boy, figure out what's going on, then you can talk to me. Now, we have monthly meetings with the managers to address current issues and avoid problems. I think in every season you'll find something's going on that needs to be fixed, and in that monthly meeting you fix it. But also in that monthly meeting you find out from the managers, how's things going out in the field there? What's the feedback you're getting? So again, it's a two-way street, and this is where you fix things. And we have standard form financial reporting every month to the executive and the parents, the same form. not two different forms, and our form, our standard form. We put on a training session at the beginning of the season. Here's the financial form. We'll go through it line by line. Here's how it's filled out. They get one every month. We get one every month. No surprises. And no pay equals no ice, no exceptions. More than one soft-hearted manager has gotten into serious trouble, and it's not fair to the rest of the people on the team. If somebody's not paying, and they are. So we stress that. Okay, the role of the executives. Leadership and setting standards for all, and that's basically similar to the monthly standard financial reporting. You mandate it, you enforce it, this is the way it's done. Well, that applies across the board to just about everything you do. There's a standard way to do it. This is the way our association does it. If you don't like it, talk to us. We can explain our view, you can explain yours. We can agree or we can agree to disagree. But that's to me is leadership, being open. We document, distribute the manual of operations, which I've given to Jason. It's basically a handbook on how our association operates. So it gives you an idea, even if you're a rookie and you sit down and read that, you got a heck of a good idea, a heck of a good first step on how to run your team. And everything is in there. I mean, I don't know how many times a year we say, somebody phones you, say, well, that's in the book. Did you read the book? That's why we gave it to you. Read the book. Now, we need to be receptive to new ideas and provide balanced response to members' proposals. Probably the worst thing you can do is when somebody's trying to explain to you what they think is cut them off. I always tell my executive, let the guy finish, let him tell you what he's got to say, and then, bring it back to us. Like either tell the guy why we don't do it that way or bring it back to us and we'll talk about it. And then we'll get back to the guy. But if you're not open like that, if people sense that, hey, there's no sense speaking up because they don't listen, I don't think that's healthy and it's not good for your organization. So we advocate if you got an idea, bring it to us. For God's sakes, we don't know everything. We'd love to hear from you. And this is critical to any organization. I guess you work as a team and support each other. Like when Adrian gets a sock shipment and we all go help carry socks, that kind of thing. You work together. Communicate. As I said, I guess throughout, communication is key. Same as the parent survey, we used to have a parent council, and that was one non-affiliated rep from each team, which is not the coach's wife or the manager's wife. It's somebody who has nothing to do with the staff of the team or the executive. That person would come to a meeting once a month and get briefed on what went on in our monthly executive meeting. What did we decide? Where are we going? What's the OMHA say? What's Hockey Canada say? That was our way to get the message from us back out to the members, each team. And the role of that parent council member was to go back to the team and hand stuff out or explain things. And that was a great communication mechanism. But that, unfortunately, went with the parent survey, so we're bringing that back as well, because it was excellent. Excuse me, in our coaching interviews, we stress with every coach, what's the role of your assistant coaches? What do they do in the bench? What do they do in a game? Like the last thing we want, the last thing any assistant coach wants, I think, is just to be a pylon pusher. So we stress, if that guy's in charge of the forwards, he's in charge of the forwards. You're in charge of the bench. Yeah, you can overrule or interact with him, but give the guy the responsibility so he feels like he's doing something. There's nothing worse than putting a guy at each gate and you're trying to do this and watch the game. Give people responsibility. That's what makes them happy. So we stress that over and over in all of our interviews. We promote association-wide systems for various things like forecheck, backcheck, face-offs, etc., like neutral zone activities, so that the kids are getting a consistent message from every coach. Like if one coach teaches this system, next year the guy's got a completely different system. So we sit down each month with the coaches and go over these systems and refine them. So the kids, if they go from one level to the other, either on an AP basis or they graduate to another team, at least there's a core of systems that they're dealing with. Yeah, you can tailor it to suit. If you've got a skating team and you can skate fast, tailor it to suit. If your guys are checkers, tailor it to suit. But at least the basic principles are the same, so the kids aren't confused. And that's where we participate in monthly meetings to discuss issues and refine the systems. But in the monthly meetings, you ask the coaches to contribute to the system so they buy in. You don't dictate it to them because that's not going to get you anywhere. But if you ask them, what kind of system do you think we should be using, have a discussion, and then you settle on it. Okay? And that's it. Any questions? Okay, I'll relinquish the mouse. Thank you.